Hello, beautiful souls. How are you today? I hope you're doing well. It's been heavy energy in the cosmos, heavy energy coming to Earth. So it's been tough. I woke up this morning with a really killer headache, and I did some energy clearing, and that helped. That definitely helped. Went outside and I grounded. Although it's kind of yucky outside, I was out in the rain a little bit, getting the grounding done. But it is good. It's like a good pain because I know that the energies coming in are helping us all process. And, those that are really on the ascension journey are getting a lot of work done. And the shadow work is really not fun, but it is definitely necessary. And then on the other side of it is like you level up. The person that you are gets to level up. And so I'm encouraged. I don't ask why. Why are my ears ringing? Why do I have such a headache? Why? Like, I know why, and I understand why, and I accept it. And if it ever gets too bad, I just ask my higher self to make the ascension symptoms less with ease and grace. And it usually helps for a while. You have to ask maybe repeatedly, but that's okay. So this talk was just on my heart, and it's come up this week within our crew, several of us, myself included. And so I just wanted to kind of discuss what I've learned. Every day is an opportunity to learn and grow and evolve. And what I knew yesterday is added on to what I now know today. I have a better understanding of things. And that just comes with experiencing it, feeling my way through it, learning the lesson that was provided for me, maybe from other experiences or maybe my own experience. So as this process goes, you heard me say several times that even those who have no clue what ascension is, or any intent to seek it out, the energies coming into the planet have an effect on every cell, every person with DNA. So whether they are out there looking for this or not, it's causing them. I wouldn't say helping, because if you're not intending it to happen, it may not be helping you at all. It's causing changes to take place. Now, for me, I have sensed over the last couple of weeks, and it just, divine timing and divine ways illustrates itself to me multiple times a day. And so over the last couple of weeks, I've gotten these random emails from people from my past, people that, I pretty much had ended any relationship or communication with, because they were not good for me, for one reason or another. And so, knowing what I know now, when those souls resurface in your life, you can't just knee-jerk reaction it and be like, danger, danger, Will Robinson, go the other way. We have to ask ourselves, source, is this something that I need to pay attention to? Is this in my purview now because something has shifted, an energy has shifted? And so I was surprised, shocked that both beings who had prior, I found out, as I was going months ago, as I was kind of evaluating the people in my life, the people that had been in my life, and I know that had provided me lessons, although they were painful. I learned at that time that these beings did not have a soul. Actually, a lot of people in my life did not have souls at the point that I encountered them. they were already soulless beings, basically just following orders, and their orders were to make my life hellacious. So anyway, I was shocked that, number one, there was any kind of attempt at communication again, because I had, dealt with the wound and cut the cord and healed the attachment, and it was over and done with. And then here comes, source popping in this little moment to have me reevaluate things. And in doing so, I found that these beings now have a soul that is of the light. They have a pure heart. They have missions in alignment with mine. And so it made me ask, did they seek this out? And some things you get to know and some things you don't get to know. And I didn't really get clear answers on that. But ultimately, both had soul walk-ins. So both human beings walking around doing what they normally do in life, through whatever process, were chosen by higher beings, ascended masters, to walk in. And that then gives, whenever you then ask of them, that becomes their soul. They're now of the light. They now have a pure heart. They're in alignment with Source Creator. And they are along the path of ascension, because their soul is now ascended masters that will teach them and guide them and glean wisdom and information through their higher self to them. And so I say that to say, I know it's a lot, and I know it's heavy. I know for me, I realize now at my moment in time with those beings, I know what those lessons were now. At the time, it was just, I don't know. I don't know what I thought it was. Anyway, they were both exes. They were both ex-boyfriends, actually. And completely different, like, moments in time and that kind of stuff. But, again, at the time, I thought they were good people. And then things ended for whatever reason. And just going through, like, the inventory of my life as I started this ascension journey, I realized I didn't have a soul. And then a lot of the actions and a lot of the events that took place when I was with them then made a whole lot of sense. Okay, so then now I understand that they are, like, with me on my journey now. And so I'm like, Source, we need to have a talk. Like, I'm not sure what to do with this, because I see them and I have judgment. Okay, because I know them, the them that they used to be. And so then that brings up another shadow that I have to deal with, because I should not have any judgment over anyone at any point in time. And I typically don't. But because of my history there, it immediately came back up. So it presents a daily struggle, a unique but daily struggle for all of us, where things that we had dealt with on whatever level, now we have to deal with on a completely different level. And that's why I always say ascension is not a checklist, and it is not a place you can go to and check into. It is an evolution of your consciousness. And so it is a constantly evolving process. And so you will go through all these tests and triggers and moments that cause you to reflect and realize that you have more work to do, and realize that today you are no longer the person you were when you encountered them the first time. And so it goes both ways, where I wanted to judge them for who they were. Well, what if they judge me for who I was? Because I'm a whole lot better today than I was back then. I've grown, I've improved. I've had walk-ins. I've had, you know, ascendant masters choose me for certain roles in this life. And so I quickly, because I've done what I've been able to do over the last several months, I didn't have to get sick about it or cry about it or have heartburn about it in any kind of way, shape, or form, other than I was just shocked. Now, the shock wore off to a degree. I'm still a little shocked because it's magical, right? It's so magical that this place and time that your physical form was in, 10 years ago, provided to you a lesson that elevated your consciousness up and out of that situation. And then once you're headed down the road, other situations happen outside of you, seemingly. And then those same beings come back into your purview and you realize that you've all had a lot of work to do. And I don't know for sure because it's not for me to know, but I intuitively feel like they had work to do and they have done some of that work. And so I have to honor that. I have to respect that. I'm asking people to respect the work that I do on myself and to honor who I am today versus who I was 10 years ago, 10 days ago, yesterday. Like, this is a constantly evolving process. And what I'm learning is we have spent such a lifetime, this lifetime, that we have been put in a place, put in a box, given boundaries that were based on our sex or our position in life or our profession or our religious preference. And it was all a bunch of bullshit. We are infinite beings when we allow ourselves to be, when we truly, truly believe that we deserve it. And right now, that's the biggest struggle that I see. People in this time, because we have suffered through decades of being told we don't deserve it. And we have never received, outside of our pets, unconditional love for just who we are in the moment. And so we have a lot of healing that we have to do internally. And then once we do that healing, we then have the next phase I see is that we have to build our confidence up to not be quiet about it and not be thinking small. Like, what we endure to get to this now moment is huge. Every single person that has come through this freaking gangster planet of Earth and the matrix of Earth to survive to get to this point, wow. Like, wow. And it's that pain, it's that turmoil, that torture, that binding that caused the friction to allow us to expand and break the bounds that held us in place to be a bigger presence. And that's what Source wants us to do. Realize that we are here to be a bigger presence. We are here to lead New Earth. New Earth is a consciousness, not a place on the map, but consciousness. So if we do the work, we're doing the work and we're fighting through all this and we're feeling the feels, we need to voice that because we're the courageous ones. Okay. I'm going to take out my own horn. Like, every step of this could be terrifying to someone else. But for me, I'm like, give me more, show me more, teach me more. It doesn't matter. It only hurts for 5 seconds. Give me more. I want to know it all. Okay. So that to me is super, super motivating. To others are like, I don't know about that because they've lived in a very different way. They're just very, very cautious, and they're even more untrusting than I am. My trust and faith has come through walking this path and walking this journey and knowing that who I can really depend on is myself. There was a point in time in my life where I couldn't say that because I was attracting people to me that were not good for me. Now I know they were being sent to me for me to learn from so I could make it to this point, because this is a really, really hard thing to do. Not as far as physical labor or like bleeding and like, it's not like flipping tractor tires in a CrossFit field. I'm not talking about that. This is spiritual work. This is being real with your soul and your source, and finding all the collateral damage between who you really are and who you thought you were, because they are not the same. You have to get away from labels. I had to stop saying, I'm just a nurse. I didn't know how to identify myself as anything other than the label that had been put on me by the Matrix. And now I don't even think of myself as that at all, ever. But I know that it provided a lot for me and I needed it and I will use it, but it's not who I am. You see, so every layer, whether you feel it's consequential or inconsequential, really can come back now and develop this next leveling up in your spiritual journey, leveling up in your ascension journey. And so the message that I want you to know here, loud and clear, is you have fought to get to where you are right now. And right now, I say that every day that's great and wonderful, the next day is going to be great and wonderful at the end of the day. But you might have some hiccups along the way. And just like those big hiccups we thought we would never survive earlier in our life, they're for us to learn and grow from. So celebrate it, say, man, this is what I discovered about myself today. This is what I discovered about someone I had written off today. There's not a soul that can ever do anything so wrong that Source Creator will not forgive them and take them back into the light. And we are to live in that image in that way. And so, who am I to write off a soul? Who am I to write off the efforts that they have gone through to be right here, right now? Because I know what I've gone through. And there's nothing that I wouldn't go through again to be right here again, because it is so worth it. But I say this with sincere emotion. It is being real with yourself, and it is being non-judgmental, and it is leaving the ego aside, because who I was and who they were then is not who I am today. It's not who they are today. So people that you may have had to heal from before may come back into your line of ascension, and it is for you. It is for you. In some way, have that conversation. Be courageous. Be brave enough to have that conversation. Ask Source Creator. Ask Mother Sophia, what did you send this to me for a lesson? Is there something here for me? And then lean into it. Now, another aspect of this is that feeling of non-deserving, or like old abuse triggers come up, right? Don't get bogged down in that. That's just living in a comfortable feeling, even though it's not good for you. Lean into that feeling, because you do recognize it, and just whisper, I am that I am. And I am a faithful servant of Source Creator. And we are moving on, and leave it, let it go. Because it's just another test and another trap, another potential trap to derail our power and derail our light beings. There's nothing more that the darkness would love to see us get this far just to fail, and then trap that power somewhere that they can use it, because they can't create power. We are all individually very, very powerful light beings. And so when we come together, we're unstoppable, infinite. So if you have been on the fence about ascension journey, or tipping your toe into getting healed and removing the blockages so that you can, properly deal and do the shadow work, please come see us in my Telegram group. Because like I said before, you don't have to be a starseed. You don't have to be a part of a crew mission. You don't have to be any of that. If you're a human being with a soul and you're of the light and you really want that ascension journey, there's just energy healing that can be done that will open up the doors for you to, all of a sudden, you get what you've asked for. And it means that you have to work. It means that you have to do the work. Nobody can do it for you. We're just going to help you get to the point where you can actually take care of the issues that are, keep pulling you back down, keep pulling you back down, keep pulling you back down. So I know that it's a tough time, but I also think it's a very exciting time. And a lot truly does need to be done within ourselves. All of the stuff that's happening outside of us, don't worry about it. I mean that. Like, do not worry about it. It's truly not for you to worry about any of that stuff. It is triggers for you to look inside and say, who am I? Is this who I really want to be? Is this what I was put here to do? Is this all I was put here to do? Is there more for me? There's definitely more for you. You just have to be brave enough to find it. I'm here for you guys. Healing Disclosures on Telegram. The link is in the description box. Stay tuned for the next episode of Healing Disclosures, and I will talk to you guys later. Have a great day.